If you want to make more money, you've got to go where money is. The amount of people that I see, mentor, or even start speaking to, I like to get to know people in one-to-ones and have lots of calls with people. It's always the same sort of issue. Look, in 2026, you're starting the year. If you want to make more money, you've got to go to the places that actually moves the needle for you, places that people can pay you from. There is no point. The amount of conversations I'm having and people are saying, yeah, I'm doing this plan, I'm doing this strategy, and I'm going, for what? So just so you can become fucking busy and not actually make any more money? Or is moving the needle towards making more money the actual thing that you need to focus on here? So today's session, today's podcast, we are talking about the things that you need to be focused on in 2026, where your efforts need to go, the people you need to market to, the actual market. What does that look like? So you can make more money either as a business owner, or if you're not a business owner and you're in a career, this also applies too, because you can't get paid more if the place where you are working is not making more money as well. So it needs to move towards you. Let's get stuck in. So for those that don't know me already, I'm Lewis Haydon. So I'm a 10 times business owner. I invest in businesses. I mentor businesses, and I'm also the founder of mentorbusiness.com as well, where we help a lot of people, no matter where they are in their career, move towards better business success, stepping people into business wealth. So let's talk about this then. So this comes straight from the A Players 100K per year playbook. You've probably heard me speak about it on previous episodes. So I'll just share the screen to you what that looks like. If you want a copy of this, by the way, then reach out to me on Instagram, LinkedIn, just say 100K per year playbook, or just type in playbook and I can send you this over to you. So I like to break down different things in this episode so you can see the elements of this playbook and all the toolkit that's there. Again, if you want to go the next level from this playbook, there's the mentorbusiness.com hobby plan for anybody who's like dipping their toes in and wants to learn more about business and how to increase their income. Or there's the professional plan as well, where mentorbusiness.com actually pays you to refer on to other people, and you get a lot more stuff like community, etc. So let's dive into this. There's a specific page I want to share with you, a tool that's used inside this 100K per year playbook that you can download. And I'll just get that on screen now. So yeah, anybody who's watching this, by the way, or listening on a podcast, if you switch it over to video, you can see this on video as well on Spotify, on YouTube, etc. So here we go. Adding zeros. This is what we're talking about, okay? Who's got your money? That's what we're interested in here. Who has got your money? You can't get money from companies that don't have money. So you may hear of industries, for example, what we've got here is an example of a manufacturing company, Bill's Furniture. Their revenue sounds like 10 million. Okay, well, that sounds like an attractive company. With all their overheads, etc., their net profit margin is around about 2%, which is 200K per year. Then where is that money going? Is it going to be reinvested? Is it going to be paid out as dividends to the shareholders? Is it going to be reinvested in the team? Is it going to be reinvested in manufacturing and machines? So you've got to be smart here of knowing the industry, that if you're working with a company like this and you want to extract more from it, let's say that you are a marketing consultant, or if you are service-based, maybe you're an accountant, then if you are in the game of like, well, okay, I want to be able to charge more for my customers, yeah, then the customer needs to be in a position that they can pay you more. So a company like Bill's Furniture that you're seeing here, that has that much money that they can pay you. The amount of people that I hear, especially because of mentorbusiness.com, we work with a lot of coaches and what do people want to do? And before they actually come across of like, anything financially, they say they want to help more people. Okay, but people that can't help themselves can't help you either. So let's get real with it, okay? If your mortgage company or the company you were with, for your mortgage, the bank said to you, you said to them, sorry, I can't pay my bills this week because I'm helping lots of people. The bank isn't going to be very happy about it because they go, okay, great, you're doing lots of nice stuff, but if you can't pay the bill, then we can't give you the mortgage and we're going to take the house off you. Yeah. So having transactional goals and transactional some things on this doesn't always equate to being, you don't always have to have this big vision of helping people without numbers. Not a charity. If you're a commercial enterprise, you need to be thinking about figures, because people don't want to work for free. Your staff don't want to work for free. We do need to be thinking about the commerciality of it. So this is why this is important. So if you look at example 2 here, a software company, Orange Soft, for example, then they're doing 100 million, but at 1% net profit, they make $1 million. Okay. So a lot of companies, and how often, guys, do you hear this on Instagram? I can show you how to make 50K, 500K, 5 million. Yeah, whatever. I mean, I can show you how to make 50 million if you want to, but it's not the point, is it? Revenue is vanity. Profit is sanity. Yeah. That's the foundation we're working from. Step 2, if you want to get paid more for anything or service or product that you deliver, if you're selling to Orange Soft here versus Bill's Furniture, yeah, who could you service more for the rates that you want to sell at? Yeah, you need to go where the zeros are. Okay. And it's the same thing for when you're selling. I mean, I'm not going to do the podcast today. It is in the 100K playbook, by the way. It is on mentalbusiness.com. And if you want anything more tailored or speak to one of our mentors, then, I can set you up with a call with one of those. But we need to be making sure here that the first step of anything where you're, what I was about to say about the 100K playbook, is that does teach you how to sell to these companies. However, the first step to anything is finding the right company. Okay, because if you haven't found the right company that you want to work with, or maybe it's the industry. I mean, if you look at the difference here, you've got a manufacturing company versus a software company, Bill's Furniture versus Orange Soft, and they're doing totally different things. Yeah, they're doing totally different net profit, net margins. Okay, so sometimes it can be the industry. People go, well, I want to work with tech companies. Great, but would working with a different area in the tech industry also create you more money? And this is the point. You've got to look at where people can't pay you if they aren't making money in the first place. Okay, so something I would do, by the way, is if I was working with these, and a lot of the mentors and coaches do, is that we would look at, well, why is the margin so low on 10 million? Yeah, and that's why businesses can go on for 10, 20, 30 years without having business coaching or mentoring or any sort of management consulting. And they would only be making 200K, where if we got that up to 10%, their 10 million would actually make $1 million. So all the gurus that you listen to saying, you got a marketing problem, you got a sales problem, not all the time. Yeah. In these businesses that you're seeing here, they don't have marketing issues. They have profitability issues. It's an operational challenge. Okay. So just because maybe if you're starting out in business right now and you need to get more clients in, absolutely. But you also need to remember that this is a seesaw. You can add a lot more clients and not be making money. You need to do both. You need to scale sensibly. Now, example 3, Banana Soft, 100 million at 10%, it's 10 million. They've added another zero on there because now they have got their margins right. Yeah, it's the same company. It looks good on paper, both doing the same revenue, but these have their margins right. Okay, they've scaled in a different way that they can become profitable. Yeah, so 10 million out of that profit, that goes out as dividends. It goes out as in reinvesting in the company. It goes out in purchasing A players. It goes out in getting the best advisors, the best marketing companies, the best accountants, the best advisors in operations. Look, remember, revenue is vanity, profit is sanity. So the reason why I want to do this podcast today is if you have the goal for 2026 that you are now going to go out there and you're saying, hey, look, man, we're going to expand from 5 million to 7 million this year. Okay. Well, you're a week into 2026 now. And by the time people listen to this and going forward, you could be weeks or months into it. Here's the thing, right? You show me your calendar. You show me the behaviors that you're doing today. If the stuff you're doing is not different from last year's stuff you were doing, no matter how many plans and strategic meetings you may have, if the behavior is the same, you're going to get the same result. In fact, you'll probably get less than the same result because your competition's getting stronger and heavier. the economic world is changing. You've got to be adapting and growing. If you are not a growing, scaling, learning industry, then look, you've got to watch out here, because the companies that come along that will take over. Okay. So this is why it's important. Yes, you do want to get the planning days in. You should be having a yearly plan. You should know your 5-year plan. You should know your BHAG, your big, hairy, audacious goals that you're heading towards, the vision, where are you heading as a big 25-year plan, 10 to 25 years, then your 5-year, then your 1 year, then your 3 months, then your month, then your week. Yeah. All this needs to be planned out. The amount of companies I speak to, especially clients that come on in the first couple of months of doing any business coaching with me personally, it's like, yeah, well, we're doing this and we kind of know what works because we're doing this. I'm like, well, is that the ethos that you had last year? Yeah. And are you going to do the same this year and get a different result? Well, yeah. Look, sometimes there are variables that happen, but do you want to be in the situation where you're relying on outcomes, external factors to help you? Like, maybe the government will spend more money in our industry this year. Maybe it'll pick up and more customers will just come along and start knocking the door. Maybe this, maybe that. You need to be in a position where you take ownership, right? There's two sides to the fence. You can either wait for external things to happen to you, or do things now so more positive things happen because of you. Okay, it's like victor and victim. Yeah, taking ownership and doing stuff on purpose rather than it accidentally happening to you. And this isn't just for external customers, by the way. For you business owners that are listening out there, it goes down to the smallest, finest detail that we want to go to. Okay, if you want to make 10 million this year, you want to make 100 million this year, what sort of things can you take ownership of that will impact that outcome? Okay, well, what sort of things, what's the market like? Do we understand the market? Yes, we're going to niche into this market. Niching is the biggest load of bullshit, by the way, that any consultant or mentor or coach will tell you. Yeah, it's bullshit. And here's why, right? This is going to ruffle some feathers right now, right? It's really going to shake the cages. If you niche and you've already got an audience of 10,000 because you've niched so much, okay, people will say, there's 10,000 businesses that I can market to. But because I'm niched in that field, I will get known as the person that really solves that problem. Here's why it's bullshit. First of all, 10,000 people. How many people out of 10,000 are ready to buy right now? So you can probably divide that by 12 months in the year. Let's divide it by 10. So they've just gone by 10,000. You now got 1,000 people. Out of those 1,000 people, how many of them actually like you? Okay, so what do we say? Out of 10 people, you've got 2 people that will be haters, 7 people won't give 2 fucks about you, and 1 person will like you. So what you're saying now is you've now got 1,000 people, and out of those 1,000 people, 100 people will like you. Out of those 100 people, how many more people are competing for that same thing? Or maybe they're celebrities in your area. Maybe they've got a well-known brand behind them already. I mean, I see this a lot with celebrities that are selling stuff. I mean, they do things on like ads and things like that. And it's like, well, you do this and you will sell a thing at $200, $100 or something like that. Oh, well, Hormoz is doing it. It must work. Let me tell you now. The reason celebrities can do this is because of their status of where they're at right now. For normal humans like you and me that aren't there yet, not to say we can't be, but we're not there yet. For normal business owners like you and me, this is why this podcast is unique. You haven't got the celebrity status to back it, right? So it's a lot more difficult for you to sell anything, right? Because you've got to re-educate people. You've got to be able to capture people. You've got to educate them. You need visibility. So yes, you're on that celebrity journey and you will one day, if you keep going, you will be famous for whatever you do. However, remember the needle that we're trying to move right now, the goal is just to make 2026 or this year, whenever you listen to this podcast, this year the best year ever. Yeah. By going from 5 to 7 or from 30 to 50, right? We're not there to be a celebrity in a year's time. So we've got to think like business owners and not like celebrities. So what this means is you can't just, I saw something today. It was a post on Instagram. It's like, if you want to know what works in social media, you just got to copy what's trending. No, you're copying what's trending because they're only trending because of their celebrity status as well, and they're known. So for somebody who's normal trying to sell $100 product versus someone using an ad that's selling $100 product because they're endorsed by a celebrity is a lot different. In fact, you can see that a lot of companies, I mean, you look at like when Netflix first started and things, they would want celebrities on their platform. Oh, it drags people into it. I mean, this is the movie industry, isn't it? Why do people have celebrity stars in their movies? Is because it brings their audience to the movie. If you've got Johnny Depp in your movie, you bring all Johnny Depp audience in. Yeah. If you was to just have an actor that nobody knew of, you wouldn't have the Johnny Depp audience watch the films. So this is what you got to think. Doing stuff like a celebrity isn't going to get you there. So you need to think like a business owner. It starts with the adding zeros. Okay. What is the goal that we're after? Who has got that money for that goal? How do we appeal to that person? Being omnipresent. This is also part of the 8-player book. If you want the download for it, you know what to do. Just message me playbook and I'll send it to you. Connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram and I'll send it over to you. It's also on mentalbusiness.com. You can get all this stuff as well. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the show so far and you're getting a lot of value from it. Look, we do this for free because it's our vision to help more businesses and their teams scale and actually achieve what they went into business and their career for. So these raw boardroom style conversations deliver the real data on what works and what doesn't, saving you time, money, and most of all, making sure that you don't miss on these opportunities that could really help you scale. Sharing it with people you know really, really supports us on these podcast platforms so we can achieve our vision. So if you have a like-minded friend, colleague, or business owner that could get value from this, thank you for sharing it with them. You know who you are, and greatest respect for everybody that's doing that so far. And if you haven't, then please support us. Let's get back to the show. So you've got to go to the places where you can then sell to. So now you know the audience, you know the market, understanding that market, niching down, total shit, right? Because what we're saying here is that, remember, we've only got 100 people now that could possibly go to, and that's very competitive and everyone's trying to get it to it, all these celebrities. Then now what's the likelihood that your 10,000 people you started with is actually going to work with you? Now, do the opposite, right? We're on a train with that then, but it's all relevant for helping you to get this big goal over the line. Let's rewind then. Rewind like 5 or 10 minutes to where I started about niching. If you didn't niche, what would happen? You would be able to market and learn what it takes to market to a larger audience. Oh, Lewis, but it's a lot more competitive. Yes, you got to get better then, haven't you? You get better and then you find what audience is resonating. When you find the audience that resonating, then you can decide to do more for that. Let's say that you were a marketing company and all of a sudden you're finding that service-based businesses over manufacturing businesses are starting to resonate more. You're getting more sales, you're getting more leads from it. And then the next stage is okay, well, how do we funnel them down? How do we nurture them? Blah, 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 blah. If you want more information on that, by the way, let me know. We can speak about it. But that is going to be a totally different marketing structure. So it's not just about getting in front of them. You need to be able to do stuff to get them from, look, people say it takes 5 points of contact to make a sale. Yeah. And there's data on this. It takes 5 to 12 points of contact to make a sale. In the world of marketing, that research was done back in like 2012 or whatever it was. The research now for 2026 would be completely different. So you can't take a model from 20 years ago. I mean, you're talking to I've got a doctorate in business administration. And if I use references below 2020, I get penalized for it because it's like, fucking hell. The way the world has moved forward right now is you can't use information from then. But a lot of people in their marketing and business are still using this stuff that worked 20 years ago. It's not relevant. So what we need to do here is figure out then what is the actual marketing, what's the funnel, how do we need to start to sell to them, how do we use the right software for it, how do we take the learnings from it, how do we test and analysis. There's a lot to it. Yeah, I can draw this all out with you if you want to have a session with me, but understanding that and going through with somebody that's done the learnings of it, not just coaching and consulting, but a mentor that's done it already, is really valuable. That can save you years and years or even decades of learning from I used to be a big collector of books, and some of the books now are like 2015, and a lot older than that. And I'm like, man, that isn't relevant in a world of today's world. I mean, it changes every 2 years. If you look at the data now versus should we do talking head videos versus graphic videos on social media, then it's really wide apart. And you're seeing people doing it because they think it works, and then it doesn't work because they're not actually getting any clients from it. You've got to be careful here as well. Do you want more impressions? Do you want likes? Or do you want clients? There's a difference, okay? So the reason I'm saying this is because you've got to really understand the numbers, right? What we spoke about so far. Find out where the companies are who've got the money that can then part with the money to pay you so you can pay yourself and achieve your goals. The step forward from that then is to also go, okay, well, how do I get visible? How do I get known within this industry? Do I go for a market of 10,000? Do I go for a market of 1 million? Do I go for a market of 10 million? Well, if you've got the right marketing systems in place, you can test and track it. You can find your niche, and it will tell you what your market is and what you resonate with more. Okay? So this is all stuff that you've got to be working with and understanding and on the steps. And having somebody that could take you through there even faster and hold your hand is always a benefit. Okay? But yet it does come at a cost. But remember, growth costs money. Growth costs money. If you're thinking that you can wing it through 2026 by doing the same shitty behaviors as before, okay, let's be fair. There wasn't shitty. They've got you where you are. Well done. Congratulations. What got you here won't get you there. Okay? And it all comes down to behaviors. All this stuff about mindset, all this stuff about, whatever it may be about reducing stress or the emotional stuff around it and things like it, it's great. Yeah, but it's not the actual thing that correlates to results. The only thing that correlates to results is behavior. Doing different shit will get you a different result. And it starts today in January in 2026. Or if you're listening to this in March or 2027, 2030, whatever, it starts today. You've got to change the behavior in what you do. The way that you behave around money needs to change as well. If you want to grow to these goals and you've got a goal that you want to go from £500,000 to 1 million this year, or maybe it's a personal income goal, you want to go from 50K to 150K this year, you need to invest in you. Yeah. Growth costs money. So the next question is where do you spend your money? That's why you need to be able to see, test and trial lots of different people, lots of different areas, lots of different learning. Is it resonating with you? Is this the thing that works on your constraint? Okay, look, the challenge that I get, and I do have to hold myself back here, is that I try to give too much away. This is why I turn into a bit of a shit marketer, because I see the day-to-day of what challenge the next thing is. If you think about theory of constraints, okay, the theory of constraints, what that's saying is that everything that you do is possible to get to an outcome, but there is something blocking it along the way. Okay. You just need to look for the next constraint. So mentorbusiness.com, just to be really straight with you and clear to you, we've got like 2,500 members now. 2,500 members are watching all the stuff on the Netflix of business coaching, mentorbusiness.com. Those 2,500 people are now watching the stuff, learning from the mentors, and now they need to inquire with a mentor if they want to move further. I mean, if they don't, great, they've learned lots of stuff. But the inquiry for the mentor needs to be encouraged, okay? Because that's it. Then the mentors get paid off mentorbusiness.com, and the clients get a better result. Now, there's a barrier there then, is that, well, if the mentors aren't producing content that makes the people go, if they're giving too much away, for example, then they could go, okay, well, we've got what we need. We don't need a mentor, right? Or they've baffled them too much and they're going, well, this is too complicated, so I'm going to move. So there's a load of variables then that stops people inquiring with a mentor. Now, if they did inquire with a mentor, I mean, they're all vetted to come onto this platform. It's not like YouTube where you can just go and, anyone's just sell you any shit. I mean, the amount of times I've bought stuff and gone with a a person, and it's like 3 months in, and you're like, man, this feels awkward because I'm not getting the result that I want. We've made sure that's all covered by vetting these mentors. And this only happens though if the mentors, they're not all salespeople. If you look at some of the stuff on grants and stuff on there and accounting and things, accountants and financial advisors that we've got, they're not there to sell. They're there to just give you great stuff and tell, well, this is what works in my clients. Go and do it and don't do it. And I'm like, well, you're in the field now, guys, where you've got to be able to convince someone if you want them to work with you. You can't just tell them like you would a client that you've already got. So there's another blocker, another constraint. So the constraint is that we've got to put training courses on to train the mentors how to deliver value and make it a win-win for clients. Otherwise, they won't get the clients. So that's what where it reaches, and there's constraints. Now we're working on that, and that's the next step of it. So what do? Let's put some more live events on. Let's put more events on, give it to the community, give it to the pro members. They can do more stuff with you. And then, that's another taster. So we're contributing towards that constraint. Now, the reason I'm giving all this away, I'm very transparent, is because it's the lessons that I learn along my world. There's 10 businesses, some of those are turning over millions and millions. And I'm not saying that to gloat, by the way. I'm saying that because it's real. Why would you rather have somebody who just talks theory or somebody that actually tells you of what they've done? Or would you rather have somebody who's telling you what they're going to do or telling you somebody what's worked, right? So I'm only here, guys, to tell you what has worked, what doesn't work. And if you think about theory of constraints in your business, what is the constraint? It's good starts to say that I want to achieve 10 million this year. You've all got financial goals. You want to pay yourself 100K, 200K, 300K from your business. However, without doing this stuff of the theory of constraints here, let's start at the top of the constraints. Well, from the bottom, you want to pay yourself £500,000 or $500,000, whatever it may be. For that to happen, you need a company that's doing 5 to 10 million, and it's got to have the right profit margins. So there's a constraint. Let's get the margins right. Okay, for now we've got those margins right. What's the constraint? What's the overheads? What's the cost of goods? What's the cost of service? Now we've got that right. What's the constraint? Well, now we're at a revenue constraint. Okay, so what's the constraint to that? Well, we haven't got the right sales team to bring in revenue. Okay, let's get that sorted. What's the constraint to that? Well, now we've got the sales, we need marketing. Okay, so what's the constraint to that? Well, we've got the right marketing, but we don't understand the market well enough, i.e. the 10,000, because you can give some shit advice in the past. It starts to reach a point where it starts to meet in the middle as well. Okay, so yeah, you can go with the market, and then the funnel of not funnel really, but the process of just giving you about the constraints can reach a point where you're kind of like, you're doing both, but you're meeting in the middle and going, that's my issue. That's my challenge. By the way, what I've just given you would be the first foundation, the first steps of a call with me when it comes to my personal mentoring and coaching, because I don't want to waste your time by just giving you a generic model and going, hey, look, this is what we do. It's like, no, look, you're paying me. I'm going to get you paid fast. Get my fee off the table fast and get you paid fast. And if you need to have anybody from mentorbusiness.com, let's bring them in too. And me and the mentor can sit with you to give you what you need to get fast. Or some people say, well, Lewis, I just want to work with you and your team. And something they get from me as well is that I go, okay, well, here's Gavin. Bring Gavin in. He's a sales director and he's now MD of one of the companies. It's like, well, there's Gavin. You can work with Gavin for a few weeks if you want, and I'll sit in and guide. The main thing is that don't waste your money on something generic. Really focus on what that constraint is. And that pulls this whole episode in together of this is how you go where the money is in 2026. You focus on the market that's got your money, adding zeros. You find out the goal that you want to actually achieve. You meet in the middle using the theory of constraints, and you start to crack it with where is your money best spent. That's why we went down that route of theory of constraints, is that constraint, that area that you need to move to next is where you should be investing to grow. Okay. So this has been a really powerful podcast, by the way. A lot of the stuff I'm sharing on here is I've spent tens of hundreds of thousands, millions over the last like 15 years in doing this stuff. So if it's been of value to you guys, and it's a value to any other business owner that you may know, then please share the vision and forward this on to them. Just share the link, copy the link off Spotify or YouTube, wherever you're watching this right now, and share it on to them. Okay, we're nearly hitting 30 minutes. Been a good session. Catch you on the next episode.